I made $20,000 selling this product on Amazon.
But that number is revenue and not profit. And in this video, we're gonna share with you the product costs, all the Amazon fees, all the other expenses that no one talks about, including one expense that cost her over $20,000.
I will also share with you how I created this product and exactly how much it costed me to start.
And at the end of this video, Brandy is gonna share with you the 3 biggest mistakes she made with selling this product on Amazon, including one mistake that cost her over $40,000.
So smash the like button because Travis and I are gonna talk about some things on Amazon that most people don't talk about.
So let's start with the numbers. And this is something that most gurus don't talk about. Most people don't wanna share these numbers. Let's start out with how much money in revenue did you do with this product?
So I did about $20,000 in 2 to 3 weeks.
And again, revenue is not profit. That's really impressive to do over $20,000 in revenue in 2 weeks, but there's a little bit more to this story. How much did you pay for all the products that you produced? Like the total cost of all the products that you sold?
So I paid about $5,000 for my first batch of inventory.
And that was about 1,000 units?
1,000 units.
Another thing that people don't think about when selling on Amazon is there is a 15% fee just to sell on the Amazon platform. How much did you pay in the Amazon selling fee?
So I paid about $3,000 in the Amazon selling fee.
There's also the Amazon FBA pick and pack fee. And that's the fee for when you send your products into the Amazon warehouse and they pick, pack, and ship out the inventory to the customers. This is a fee that you have to pay. How much did you pay in that fee?
That fee was about $3,500.
Which means on average, every time that Amazon shipped out a product for you, they charge you around $3.50, which seems like a lot, but that includes the storage, that includes the postage and handling and all that kind of stuff. So it's not too bad. But the next fee was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So how much did you spend in PPC?
So in PPC, I spent about $23,000.
Which is a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And we're gonna talk in depth in this video why she spent so much money on PPC. But for anyone that doesn't know, PPC stands for pay per click. And it's a way for you to advertise your products on Amazon's platform so that you can get to the top of the search results for pretty much any search you want. And you have to pay every time someone clicks on your ad. So after you subtract all the different fees from your revenue, how much did you make or lose with this product in the first 2 weeks?
So I lost about $15,000.
And I know that sounds like a terrible thing. And look, I don't recommend for most people starting out on Amazon to spend over $20,000 on PPC. But there's a very specific reason why Brandy did this, and we're gonna get to that in depth in this video.
So I could have had a profit of $8,000 in my first 2 weeks if it wasn't for PPC, but there's a reason that I did this. The first mistake that I made was not knowing how expensive it was going to be to start selling on Amazon.
And when you're starting an Amazon business, there is the cost of designing your product. There's the cost of manufacturing your product, trademarking, shipping your product to the warehouse, and a bunch of other things that people oftentimes don't think about. Let's share how you created your passion product and how you started selling it on Amazon. Why did you decide to create a passion product, a product at all, to start selling on Amazon?
Right, so I actually started out with a lingerie line and I was selling that on Shopify. And I wanted to put that onto Amazon, but then I was dating Mina and I asked him, can you help me put this on Amazon? And he said, you have way too many SKUs. This is gonna be very expensive to put on Amazon. And then eventually I lost passion in clothing, but I still wanted to be in the women's empowerment space. So that's when I followed my passion more.
So for anyone that's new to the channel, my name is Travis Marziani. I've been selling full-time on e-commerce for over 8 years. And about 4 years ago, I had a product that I created, a passion product that's done over $1 million in sales, almost over $400,000 in profit. And what I found to be the secret to making money online is creating a product that you're actually passionate about, a passion product, and ideally selling it on Amazon because Amazon has over 140 million Prime customers. 50% of all e-commerce sales happen on Amazon. So this is a really great opportunity. But let's talk about step by step. How did you create this product? The first step, if you want to create a product for Amazon, is to do product research, to try to figure out what kind of product you want to sell. How did you do product research? How did you find this product?
Okay, so funny story. A lot of women after their period, or if they drink too much coffee, or if their pH balance goes out of whack for whatever reason, it could be diet, stress, anything, they usually have a pH imbalance, and that can lead to infections, it can lead to odor, irritation, whatever it is. So I was using something, for whenever my pH balance got out of whack, from just like a local store by my house. And I was concerned when I moved to LA, I was like, where am I gonna find this? So I went on Amazon, there was like nothing.
That's the key right there.
Yeah, so there was nothing that, on Amazon. And the products that were on Amazon all had boric acid and they were not vegan. And I'm vegan and I wanted to make sure my product was vegan. So that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna make this product and I'm just gonna go with it. And of course, you know, I have my boyfriend Mina to help me, and I have you, and so yeah.
And by the way, Mina is an Amazon FBA expert. I've interviewed him a number of times on this channel. I'll link a video talking about Mina's story up here. And this is an important thing to remember. Anytime you go to Amazon, you search for a product and there's nothing there that you wanna buy, that's a light bulb moment. That's when you should create that product, and that's the whole point of a passion product. So once you had this amazing idea, it's a product that you were willing to buy, and you probably knew that a lot of your friends were willing to buy this product, the next step is to actually start designing the product. And that seems like a very hard product to design because it's pharmaceutical or whatever. What was it like designing a product like this?
It was very scary at first, but luckily I have my boyfriend Mina, and since he was in the supplement category, anytime I had like a hurdle to come across, he would be right there to help me. So I had him at a huge advantage. I found the manufacturer, which was a very, very long, lengthy process. But you know, designing the packaging and everything, I'm very creative, so that was fun for me. But the actual formula and everything, it took a lot of, you know, studying. It took a lot of research. It took working back and forth with a chemist. So that was a lengthy process.
And you hired a designer to actually design like the labels and logos and stuff.
Yes.
How much did that cost about?
So that was about $150. So I designed it using No Limit Creatives. I designed, you know, the label, the box. I used like my favorite colors. I wanted to make it as girly and feminine as possible because I want it to be something, if it's in your bathroom cabinet or whatever, you feel proud to have it. Like it's gorgeous. You want to buy it. You're attracted to it.
Did you also have to pay like a pharmacist or a chemist or anything? Like what about that side of the designing of the product? Did you have to pay for any of that kind of stuff?
No. So I just paid for the manufacturing. I paid for samples. I worked back and forth with a chemist, and since it's just vitamin C, that's my main ingredient, it doesn't need any sort of extra testing like boric acid does.
The third step when trying to create a product to sell on Amazon is to actually find a manufacturer and get the product manufactured. How did you find your manufacturer?
So for my actual manufacturer that makes the pill, that was a very hard process because no one wants to work with a product like this. It's a huge liability. So usually finding a manufacturer is very easy, but in this case, it was a little bit harder. So I found all of the manufacturers in US. I wrote down their name, their number, and I just called them. After, you know, one call after the other, I spent a whole day doing this. Eventually, I found one that I wanted to work with. He had great pricing, and he was willing to actually co-pack and bundle everything, so I didn't have to hire a co-packer, which was a huge, important thing for me.
And usually, if you're looking for manufacturing a product that you're going to sell on Amazon, a lot of people just go to Alibaba. And if you want to manufacture a product in China, it's very easy to use a website like Alibaba. You can just search through manufacturers. But a lot of people come to me and they're saying, I don't want to manufacture in China. I want to manufacture in the US. How do I even do this? And this is exactly how you do it. Just Google it. Google all the different manufacturers that you could possibly work with. Start calling them. And as you call them, they'll start referring you to other people and you'll eventually find someone. But how much was it to actually do your first production run? Because manufacturing in the United States can be a little bit more expensive than in China.
Right, so I would say it was a little bit over $500. I did 25 samples, and keep in mind, I have the pills, I have the applicator, I have the page strips, I have the label, the brochure, the box. I have a bunch of different items that I have to manufacture. So I made 25 units at first, and I gave them all to my friends and family, and I said, try this. Tell me if you have any complications, because this is a pill that you insert into your body. So I said, try this, let me know your honest opinion. I got great feedback. I got amazing feedback because a lot of women, they deal with these issues very, very personal and on their own. So I'm glad that I was able to help them. I got great feedback. So yeah, that was about $500.
And this is another very important thing is you want to test out the product. You want to get some samples first. And for $500 to get 25 samples isn't really that bad because how much did your actual final production run cost?
A little over $5,000.
Yeah, before you spend $5,000, it's worth spending that $500. And so then after you did your production run, the next step is to actually get that shipped into the Amazon warehouse. How much did that cost you and how did you do that? Because a lot of people ship from China over to the US. Was it easier because a lot of your product was in the US, or walk us through that? Okay,
so I didn't get anything sent to my house, which is amazing. I don't want to touch my inventory. I don't want to deal with it. So all of my little things that I had, the applicator, the page strips, I sent them all to my manufacturer, which I kind of cut that into my product cost. And then my manufacturer bundled everything. and then they sent it to Amazon. So for them to send it to Amazon, it was about $150.
And I think this is another important thing to note is that you had multiple manufacturers,
Yes.
right? A lot of people are afraid about doing that, but you just had all the different manufacturers send it to one manufacturer, they bundled it, and then they sent it into Amazon. So you didn't have to really touch the product at all.
I didn't have to touch the product, and I didn't have to hire a co-packer because my manufacturer is willing to do that.
This is also very important. It doesn't matter where you live. Even if you didn't live in the United States, I'm assuming all you were doing was sending emails, making phone calls.
Exactly.
So there's really no excuse. If you want to start an Amazon business, even if you live in another country, you can still do it.
Yes.
Now, after you had the products actually shipped into the Amazon warehouse, the next big step, and a very important step, is launching it on Amazon.
Yes.
So the first step, obviously, is you have to sign up for your Amazon seller account and add the product into Amazon. What was that process like? Was that easy? Was that hard?
So that process was very easy. You sign up for your Amazon account, you get the little code in the mail, and the whole thing. I actually got picked to do like a interview kind of verification thing. So I had to show my passport and show my face, tell them what I wanted to sell. So I think I got randomly chosen for that. Very easy. They asked me a few questions and then I was approved. And then I made my listing. So in order to get my barcode and everything, which was kind of like the scary part for me, was the barcode, because you have to get your barcode and then your FNSKU and then they make a baby and then that's your barcode.
Sure.
So once I made my listing, I spent a lot of time actually building my listing. So I think having a great listing is like essential for launching on Amazon. If your listing isn't perfect, don't launch. And that worked out well for me because I had great numbers. So.
And before we get into your actual numbers, we should go over all your different startup costs, because you did just mention another thing that a lot of people don't think about is you have to buy a UPC code, which at a minimum, you can get one UPC code for $30. Did you end up getting a 10-pack or did you just get like a one UPC code?
I did the 10-pack. I did the more expensive one.
So it's like $250?
$250, yes.
So let's go over all your startup costs. So in total, you had to pay for the design costs. How much did that cost?
For design, it was about $450, but I used a code, so I got it for about $150. And they designed everything. They designed all my listing images, my enhanced brand content, my label, my brochure. They designed everything for me. They were amazing, so I highly suggest them.
No Limit Creatives is a great way if you got to get a lot of stuff designed for a month. The next thing is software and tools. A lot of people spend $100 on Helium 10. How much did you spend on this?
So I actually didn't spend anything because I knew what my product was before launching. So all I did was, and for my research and development, I just basically went through my competitors' reviews, and that's all I did. So I didn't spend any money there.
And you also spent $500 on samples. What about an LLC or a DBA? Did you get either one of those?
Yes, so I did an LLC. I used another state, so it was only $150.
And then there's another $5,000 for the inventory. And how much did you pay for shipping your product to the Amazon warehouse?
That was about $150.
And on top of that, you paid to trademark your logo. How much did you spend on that?
So I spent about $850. I used one of the Amazon trademark lawyers so I can get enhanced brand content from the jump.
And you don't have to spend $850. You can actually do it yourself. It would cost around $275. But sometimes, if you want to make sure you don't make a mistake, it is worth hiring a lawyer. So in total, to start this Amazon business, how much did it cost you?
So in total, it was around $8,000.
So let's go back to launching this product on Amazon. Because as you mentioned, you set up the listing, you set everything up, and then your product's ready to sell. How did you actually gain traction? Because a lot of times when you launch a product on Amazon, it's going to be at the bottom of the search results. And how do you get to the top of the search results?
So I used PPC. I had Mina running my PPC campaigns. We did a very, very large campaign. From the moment that I launched, we started running PPC because I wanted my sales velocity to be very, very high.
And this is a mistake that, if you don't know what you're doing, is a huge mistake. Like I see a lot of people that throw away money on PPC. Luckily, Mina is an Amazon PPC expert and Brandy's boyfriend. So the reason they did that is so that they knew that if they could get their sales velocity up really high, that Amazon would see this and would keep their product to the top of the search results. Because again, it's important to remember that Amazon is a search engine. People go there to search for things. And if your product is at the bottom of the search results, you're not going to get any sales. But if you can get your product to the top of the search results, you're going to get a ton of sales.
So even though I lost $15,000 in my first 2 weeks, I look at it as more as an investment. I knew that I was going to spend this money. I mean, I didn't necessarily know I was going to spend that much money in PPC, but I know that it's going to be worth it because your sales velocity is very important from the moment that you start, because you have your honeymoon period and you have to take advantage of that. So that's what we did, and I'm not upset about it at all. I just feel like I basically lost my first, round of inventory, broke even in a sense, kind of, not really, but I'm in it for the long run, so I'm not worried about it.
Now I want to be clear, you don't need to use PPC to launch your product on Amazon. Most people I work with launch their product on Amazon without spending a dime by using the passion product formula method. Like AJ did. He launched a product and in his first month, he did over $50,000 in sales. And once you subtract all his costs, he actually walked away with a profit of $20,000 in just his first month. Now, the strategy that Brandy used was to get as many sales as possible for her product by using PPC. And the idea is the more sales you get for your product from day one, Amazon's gonna notice this. And if you're getting a ton of sales, they're gonna put you at the top of the search results. And this is a high risk, high reward strategy that I would avoid unless you really know what you're doing. And this method would have worked really well for Brandy if it wasn't for these next two mistakes that she made.
Including one mistake that cost her over $40,000. If she wouldn't have made this mistake, paying that $15,000 in PPC would have been well worth it. The second of the three mistakes that you made was not knowing your lead time. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right, so I have multiple different products that go inside of my product. So I have multiple manufacturers. So when you have multiple manufacturers, you have multiple lead times. So my main manufacturer, his lead time is about, 1 week. So I was like, perfect, I have 1 week lead time. But I didn't take into account all of the other products that I have, the pH strips, the applicator, the boxes. So my boxes for them to be designed is about 30 days. And then to keep in mind, you still have to ship it, and then the manufacturer has to assemble them and put the product into the box. So my lead time is about 30 to 40 days.
And really quick, we should mention lead time basically means from the time that you pay your manufacturer, how long until the product's actually ready and ready to be sent into Amazon or ready to be for sale on Amazon. So this is really important because she did something that was amazing. She sold out of all her inventory in 2 weeks, but then she contacted her manufacturers and realized, I'm gonna have to be out of stock for over a month, which on Amazon, you don't wanna be. So all this momentum that you built up with the PPC, not that it's lost, but you weren't able to take full advantage of it.
And when you see that you're about to run out of stock, I would highly recommend turning off your PPC. Now, this will slow down your sales, but it will make it so your profit margins are a lot higher, and it will make it so that your inventory lasts longer so you don't run out of stock. And running out of stock on Amazon is something you want to try to avoid at all costs, because when you run out of stock, Amazon might blacklist you or blacklist your product, making it so that your product shows up lower in the search results.
Which leads into the third mistake that she made, and the biggest one, and this mistake probably cost you over $40,000, and that's running out of inventory, which I'll let you talk about that.
So I did run out of inventory, and I sold out, in the first 2 weeks, which to some people that sounds amazing, but really it's not. I projected that I was going to do maybe 300 sales my first month. But once I started seeing, on my 11th day, I hit 100 sales a day. So at that moment, I should have been, let's get some more inventory ASAP, So running out of inventory is definitely not something that's ideal. And yeah, it's one of my huge mistakes. I wish that I didn't have that issue.
And Brandy and I filmed a step-by-step video on how you can create your own passion product over on her YouTube channel that you can watch by clicking right here. We talk about in depth all the different mistakes we've both made, and even in more detail, step-by-step, how you can create your own product to sell on Amazon. So click on that video and we'll see you in the next video.